So, heading to France, which is where we are, funnily enough. Get it?
Oh,
anyway.
not France.
Was it got a French flag on it?
It's a French consulate.
It's in America somewhere? No. Where's it meant to be? Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they speak French there. All right. Well, regardless,
You don't need a French
it doesn't
flag.
matter.
Okay.
I'm not a law person.
A consulate, you put a flag of the consulate on the consulate to know which consulate
You guys
it is.
were arguing over some operator's name the other day, and I don't know law. It's not my thing. I don't care about it. Anyway, regardless, we're going to be heading over into Cloud9's map now. Interestingly, of the 3 times that they played it in Stage 1, they actually only won it once, but both the other times were 6-8s. They're exceptionally close. Guts Gaming and Giants Gaming being those 2 teams, and Scars, of course, are who they won against. So there you go. We're seeing so far those bans come out. Maverick and Nomad, correctly predicted by Des Achu.
Does that mean we get to see a Valkyrie? That would be the, epic countdown coming through. No, okay. That's unlucky. Normally they go hand in hand. Nomad and Valkyrie. As long as Cloud9 wins this map, my prediction game is still on point. But it doesn't matter. CYCLOPS versus Cloud9. CYCLOPS, you need to show what you have right here. You're the last Japanese team standing. Are you going to be able to, well, carry that across to the grand finals? Or at least the map 3 to start off with? Or Cloud9, are you going to be showing that you're back in business and you're back here to take what is yours?
Well, one of the questions that they were asking on the desk before we headed in is what side are CYCLOPS going to choose to begin on, especially considering the fact that Cloud9 are evidently so much stronger on attack, and this is an attack-favored map. They have chosen to start on the attack. I'm being laughed at. Oh, I know why. It's because everyone's taking photos, and I'm the only one remaining at the desk.
I'm casting too. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hap has run away to go and pose.
I'm not even running away. I'm just sitting still on my. I don't know. I'm sitting. It doesn't matter. The match is going on. CYCLOPS versus Cloud9. Who is going to be winning it? I think Cloud9 will. Do you think CYCLOPS is still going to be taking it, Gio?
Yeah, I don't want to answer that question.
You have to. There is no more choice.
I would really rather not. I don't know. I think Cloud9 have actually really outdone my expectations here, and I've been a big proponent of Cloud9, a big fan of the Korean scene for a while, but I did wonder if the aggression and coordination that we've seen from CYCLOPS would be a little bit too much for what can sometimes be late pacing from Cloud9. But today they've proven that they woke up on the right side of the bed and they really know what they're doing. They're going to be starting off here on the defense, as I said before, bringing in some of that Waldenal in the form of the Kaid. That will make it obviously harder for the garage door to be opened. Sweetblack's going to be watching him through the drone hole, but it does mean that there'll have to be more of a vertical take here from CYCLOPS.
I dare to say that the last map we've seen from Cloud9 was literally one of the best Cloud9 maps we've ever seen in terms of that play. Anyway, Anaton in quickly on top floor. He's going to be getting on his drone, droning himself in right here, hoping to put up some early pressure as BlackRay will be doing the same from the Visa stairs. Look at the angles that Nova is holding off right here. Oh, he's holding off the hatch like that. Should be aware of any drones or personnel drops through as well in that case. Might even be able to watch the yellow stairs as you see a Warden and an Invitator just rotating back, taking a bit of damage. You might think, why Warden? Well, look at the smoke grenades that are present on CYCLOPS.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously have that in the form of the Dokkaebi, one of Cloud9's favorite operators. We did see banned out on that last map. Still got Logic Bomb remaining that they can use, but as you say, smoke grenades will be pretty important if they decide to use that to facilitate the plant that they make. But first of all, they actually have to make it down towards the site, which is still being heavily defended here by Cloud9. And that's why things like the soft destruction from particularly the buck in the hands of BlackRay are going to be so important.
Nova is definitely in a hard position here. The angle's being watched by BlackRay. Gator will be opening up now onto him as well. And that is definitely going to be forcing him out of a position. Might actually get him killed in the long run as Flashbangs now coming through. They still don't manage to actually pick him up. Another smoke canister coming in. He's trying to cover himself as he makes a run for it into the bathroom. He's somehow still alive during all this, wasting so much time on the likes of CYCLOPS as Anata now picks up the first kill. Look at that. He found himself another corner to play, and as the smoke canister, the smoke grenade off actually, CYCLOPS is going to be helping him out now. Still alive, 40 seconds.
That drone coming in could have bided him some time that he would have been able to use to actually drop down the hatch if he decided to, but now the Buck is back in position to take advantage of him if he does move. So much is being spent here, but it's going to be Gatorado who's falling down as Envy Taylor uses that C4, with Nova finally being brought down as well. 20 seconds remaining though, Hap, and still CYCLOPS have to push in.
It took them so long to go for it, but look at A Gator, he's moving in, but Envy Taylor's not going to be able to get the kill down, and that means they move through the basement corridor here. They're straight into Vibes right now. The plant is going to be coming down from Black Gray. Will there be something to try and stop it? I doubt there is. Flashbangs will rain in, and the plant will go down. 40 seconds on the clock. The last two members are, well, in between the black car and the white van, but it's going to be CYCLOPS that take round number 1 straight away. But we've seen this one before. Back then it didn't end that well for them. Let's hope that this time it's going to be actually working in their favor.
Interesting approach taken there by CYCLOPS, who obviously decided to invest so much time upstairs, and that was a risk. Because if those players like Nova had been able to rotate down at the right time, provide so much more presence downstairs, then suddenly you've wasted a significant amount of the attacker's time. The Buck was obviously paying attention to the angle into the public bathroom rather than necessarily opening up the floor into the garage, which is what you would normally see. And at that point, if it had worked for Cloud9, suddenly none of this utility on the attacking side would have been used for what they would then need it for in that moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not what ended up happening.
No.
No.
I like Nova. He spends so much time up there, and in the meantime, the remaining members of Cloud9 were preparing for a back take, and the remaining members. I mean, the remaining members of CAC. The remaining members of Cloud9 were actually finding themselves in their garage, not being able to deal with it. There was no more utility left, so perfect read there from CYCLOPS.
Well, Cloud9 now coming into their second opportunity to be able to make one of these defensive rounds work for them. And interesting choice of site. Obviously coming to what is typically accepted as the quaternary site.
What?
The offsite.
The offsite. I mean, many call the tertiary bomb site the offsite, so we do need a new name in that case.
Yeah, okay, I'm saying quaternary.
Is that the right term?
Yeah, it's like first or like secondary, tertiary, quaternary.
Secondary, tertiary.
Say that again.
Tertiary? Tertiary.
Tertiary. Tertiary.
Torture.
Okay, maybe not quite that bad. But either way, this isn't necessarily the bomb site that one might expect a team to go to second. So I'm wondering if they're thinking, we're going to try and throw CYCLOPS off. They're not necessarily going to be expecting to go here. A lot of teams find it kind of hard to attack into. You frequently go in for the top of the two bomb sites, but because of the potential for vertical play by the defenders, this makes it very difficult. That's why you see operators like the Pulse, like even the Mute, who holds on to the C4 to make it so much harder for the attacking team.
And how often do we see a Pulse with a shotgun, actually? It's normally something one of the other teams would...
Xavier, is that you?
Yeah, Xavier. Are you living through in the likes of Cloud9? Has you just been taken down by Giants? As Nova paying homage to Scatman using that M110. So the Scar is being used there onto the castle barricade. Looks like CYCLOPS actually wants to go for the top floor. But first they need to actually clear out those two roamers that are still present there before they can get a plan down in tellers.
And this is where we may find a very similar situation where a lot of the time is shaved off, as CYCLOPS do have to deal with these players who are playing upstairs. Now, Xiao got taken down relatively early in that last round. That meant he couldn't lend his skills as a gunner so much as we did see back in that first map. If he's able to live this one out a little bit further, but he's not. Doesn't matter. Black Ray found him first, and that's going to give CYCLOPS more of an opening as they continue on, I should say, with this clear.
It's definitely an opening that they need to get themselves set up to go for a plant. Keep in mind, though, only 1 minute 5 seconds left on the clock, and Envy Taylor is still playing upstairs, as right now, A Gator and the rest of CYCLOPS will be forcing themselves to go down to the first floor. Getting the drones in, trying to get this information as they want to go for a teller stake. But there is still that one player in Tellers they have to take out first. And there's still that one player upstairs that will come back to them at some point to try and go down for a flank. So it's really important they get this first kill down, as Hopper will be dealing a bit of damage, will be able to pick up one kill, maybe no, actually does not find a single one, just eases them up as NV Taylor and Harper go down. It's going to be up to Cyclops now to secure themselves that second round, but you got to keep in mind, 26 seconds left, still that shotgun in play, the potential of a C4 to be tossed up as Aegator right there will be getting that bomb plant down right now. Nova tossing in that C4 will be too late, as actually no, the plant did not go down, but the wallbang will be there. It's all up to Sweet Black now. Is he going to be able to use his Evil Eye? No, he will not. A flawless round from Cyclops to put themselves up to 2-0, something they were not even close at the last time around.
And you could tell by the way that Cyclops has set themselves up that they wanted to go in for the kills. That's how that they were going to do it. I mean, you don't bring along a Blackbeard combined with a Dokkaebi unless that is what you're doing. And once they did get that clear of Shell at the beginning, they could then invest in those logic bombs to seek out the remaining players that were left on Cloud9. Now, it's obviously monumentally disappointing there for the Castle, who once the Ash Breach charge had been used to open up the soft wall into Tellers and the flashes sent in, wanted to take the opportunity to try and get that kill, but missed twice, and 2 kills ended up being turned around there onto Cloud9. That meant when you had Nova and Sweet Black downstairs, Sweet Black creeping up with the Alder, trying to see if he could get anything, but by that point, Anaton had moved forward too much, and Nova not successful with the C4, not actually fully knowing where those players were upstairs. And there's a pulse that's not really a position you want to be in. So ultimately, everything kind of fell apart there for Cloud9. It's a bit early to really determine how this is going to go, but so far it seems like Opposites Day in terms of who picks which map loses.
It's something that often happens because the side choice is just so important right here on a game like Rainbow Six, and of course choosing a map gives your opponent the side choice. You could often wonder how big of the advantage you should have if you choose the map. As Evil Eyes and Shields are being deployed, the reinforcements coming down, and as we hit that 0 moment of the prep phase, that means that 3 minutes of the action phase will come through. Cloud9, you have yet to find yourself around right here. You had a very commanding victory. Are you going to be able to at least come back now, put up at least 1 round to start off with? Or are you going to be finding yourselves on a 3-0 deficit? As right there, the EMP comes through, and that means the wall will be breached within 30 seconds.
Sometimes you just get so used to not seeing a Thatcher that it becomes almost surprising when he can be used, and that does mean that Cyclops can go in for the garage wall, which wasn't something that they attempted last time. Obviously back in round 1, they hung around a little bit more upstairs, had a lot of pressure into the public bathroom, and didn't necessarily make that same rush in. But that does mean it has been open nice and early. That does influence the positioning of the defenders down in garage. But MV Taylor still on this roam over towards Visa. Potentially he could catch someone out on this side of the map, but the question is, if Cyclops rush on into the site, is he going to be available to do anything? Anaton is right outside. Does he know that he's there?
There is a drone, but oh no! The feed sticks through. He knows exactly where he is, wins that gunfight, and that's very unfortunate there for NV Taylor. A lot of crucial information being given away there to Cyclops. Not getting the kill, of course, through that wall, but it's so telling of what was about to happen. As Cloud9 will find themselves with an entry death. It's up to Cyclops now to finish this one off.
And in and of itself, it's such a risk to have another one of your players all the way on the other side of the map when there is that potential for so much pressure to be applied on the site. But, of course, it didn't work out given how that glitch ended up happening and MV Taylor got taken down.
It definitely did not. It did not help them. Hey, Gassan. Hey, what are you doing there? Just quickly.
They were all, so this is the thing, everyone was lying on the floor down there on their fronts with their legs in the air.
And as soon as the game froze, they were like, run.
They all ran, but Fluke left all.
Maybe you can
Fluke,
see it on the camera.
Pick them up. Fluke, go pick them up.
Fluke?
Fluke, come on.
Come on.
Don't leave the studio a mess.
Clean it up. Switch the crane, please.
It's so funny because he just looked back seeing all his notebooks and pens down there, and it's just that like this disappointment.
This is like,
longing.
you know, when you're getting in your plane and they say, like, in case of emergency, leave everything behind and just exit. That's exactly what Fluke
It
did.
was that level of urgency. It was the, oh God, what do we do?
We have to get out now.
Because also the other thing is we typically stand up when casting, and so we were just like, all right, let's sit down. We need to sit down. Well,
it's not going as I would expect it to go.
It's not
going as Desi would expect to go either. We're in the same boat here, I think.
Nice little eyebrow raise. I suspected that was passive aggressive.
Could be. I mean, this big old mad man Derry, so.
Yeah, that's what we call him. Well, either way, as you say, it's not necessarily going how Cloud9 expected. They had such a dominating victory on Oregon, which wasn't even their map. It wasn't a map that they had loads of experience on. And yet here on Consulate, the map that they picked out for themselves, a map that they have been playing on so much, even when you look back to things like the Korean Open, the Korean Open Championship, Pro League Season 11, they've always really liked this map. And it seems almost like Cyclops were a bit more prepared for it. They probably expected that they would want this map or they go to this map. Maybe they've just been watching a little bit more, pay more attention as to how Cloud9 like to play it. Or maybe they're just feeling a little bit more, let's just go for it. They were very, I mean, they described it on the desk as lethargic, right? How they played Oregon. They're just like, all right, let's take our caffeine shots. And we're going to play this one properly.
Let's get a little bit of a coffee in or an energy drink and get going. Well, they're definitely playing a bit more energetic and a bit more, you know, quicker paced. Yeah. And they seem to be finding out how Cloud9 is playing, instantly dismantling it as well. So definitely good for them. But we cannot forget we're only 3 rounds in right now, so there's still a lot to go potentially.
This is the thing with APAC is the second you start to make expectations in the first half of a game is the second that they get shattered. You think you're going to a 7-1 and suddenly you find yourself in a 7-8.
I mean, that's his thing right here. He said that we wouldn't go into a map 3, but only because he wants to see a map number 3. So he's kind of trying to.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. He's trying to
psychology.
Like I said. I think, you know, one of the things that Cloud9 are potentially finding is working against them is obviously seeing MV Taylor on Nomad a lot is really, really common. And Nomad's been banned away. Now, I don't think that necessarily is the only thing. Cloud9 are a bit too developed to rely solely on one operator, but when you have a very specific kind of playstyle that you like to go with, it can be, you know, kind of daunting when that's no longer an option for you. They like to control the pacing, the roam of the attackers, or of the defenders, I should say. And they're not really having the opportunity to control the pacing and the roam of anyone. Obviously, they haven't made it onto the attacking side yet. We could see things start to change when they do go there. As we know, very attacker-favored team and attacker-favored map.
Yeah. I mean, in APAC, for sure, everything seems to be attack-sided nowadays. So I'm not really too confused.
Yeah, even Clubhouse.
Even Clubhouse is attack-sided. So, yeah. I mean, we might see 3 rounds on the attack right now, but if Cloud9 manage to take 1 or 2 home on the defense, we might just see them take the whole thing.
I think one of the things that Cloud9 do is it's very characteristic of them to have a lot of players, you know, on the roam, placed off-site. They don't really do turtle defenses in any kind of way, but what they are not doing, I should say, is making early rotations back to the site at a certain point in time. What you see a lot of teams do is by the time it gets to the halfway mark, 1 minute 30, that's when you start to see that move back. But Cloud9 are a little bit, they like to play a little bit riskier, where they'll hang around a bit more, but it does mean that if you get caught out in that situation, it makes the site so much freer for the attackers. And it does look like so far, Cyclops has been taking that, you know, factor into account and taking advantage of it a bit more.
It definitely is the case. Like, I mean, if you lose your roamers early on, it is going to be coming back to you at the moment the execute will come through, because everybody who you expend elsewhere is not going to be on the site during the moment of execute. And it's simple maths. You know, if you have five people, or should we do it with fruits? If you have 5 pairs and you put 2 in the basket, you only have 3 left.
Like
so
2 + 2, it's 4 - 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Yes, very good. Very good. I'm proud. You know, you couldn't see that 33 + 77 was 1 out of 10, but you got this one. You know how many bars are on a kick out?
You know, let's not talk about that because I don't like being shamed. But it does sound like we are going to be heading back into the game very, very soon. Obviously, getting everything restarted. And that will be us heading in now for round 4. As you said, Hap, it's still early days. It's still not necessarily late enough for us to be able to tell entirely what's happening.
Cloud9 won the round.
Did they win the round or were they given the round? I don't know. They won. They won the round. Yeah. I didn't know if it was the game that crashed or a PC that crashed or I don't know. I just knew there was a crash somewhere.
That's unlucky. So we go from we crashing to alligator crashing. Hey, we're back. So how are you?
So let's talk about round 4. I think that was a really interesting round because we got to see, you know, the pick phase, which is really like this. Yeah, no, it's we'll just have to wait for Alligator to get back. There's a bit of unfortunate timing there. But the fact that Cloud9 have actually managed to get a point on the boards so far, you know, we were giving them a little bit of flack about the fact.
3-0, honestly.
Yeah, no, me too, especially after the unfortunate incident with MV Taylor and Aniton. We were giving them a little bit of flack, but now it actually looks like they're starting to get their footholds in a bit. And I have said it before, I'm going to say it again, Cloud9 historically have been one of these teams that sometimes just need those couple of rounds to warm up. And you'll see almost a different team at the start to what you see at the end.
As I said, if they manage to get 2 or 3 rounds in on APAC, with Cloud9 being strong on attack and Consulate being susceptible for like aggressive plays, we might be seeing Cloud9 actually take the whole thing. And you know, those first 2 rounds at the start of the 3rd round looked very promising, very dominant from Cyclops. But you know, we saw yesterday 5-1 suddenly turned into a 6-6 into overtime and the other team won it. Nothing is certain until that last round has been played.
Yeah, that's very true. I think it's going to be so much more telling once we get onto the flip side, once we get to round 7, and we do actually see things come back around the other way, because of course that is where Cloud9 are going to feel way more in their comfort zone, or at least you would assume. You never know. You would know all about that, Hat, wouldn't you? Expectations not working out.
I expected to once win the Benelux title as well, and I did not. It's almost the same story as. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Okay. Must be really heartbreaking when you have 1 player credit on Wikipedia and you really wanted to be a pro, so you ended up as a caster.
I have multiple tournaments that I've played.
Really?
I've played 3 tournaments.
Okay,
3
that's
finals.
really impressive, Pat.
Yeah, I qualified every single time, but never managed to win. But it's not about me today, even though I'm being a bit ashamed. But we still have Cloud9, who is back on the rise, and I think that is something that is worth mentioning. Cloud9 have been, you know, they started off strong and then they basically, you know, went back a little bit, went down a little bit. They didn't stand out as much as they did.
I mean, here's a notable thing about Cloud9. They obviously came into the major in 2nd place, but the reason they were in 2nd place is not because they actually reached 2nd place on either of the 2 phases of stage 1. It was because of the nature of the bookhold system, which you know all about. You did all of your maths, all of your research into it. So it was simply to do with how their opponents placed and who their opponents won against and who they won against. That meant that they ended up placing 2nd overall. And one of the concerns that left us with coming into the major was they're in 2nd place, they have this bye, but are they actually 2nd place good enough?
Does look like it for sure. At least they might be even able to take the entire thing. If, you know, Giants looked a bit shaky today, Cloud9 so far, well, let's take the first map, look really strong, really dominant. If they manage to now continue that after the rehost, we might see Cloud9 just take the whole thing. That would be something. It would especially make you happy as a...
I mean, I think it would be really interesting, you know. I'm genuinely actually not biased in this situation. And obviously, I predicted Cyclops to win because I actually thought that that's what it was going to be. But what I think is really interesting about this is, you know, you've got the last Japanese team versus the only Korean team. Yes, the only Korean team who are here at the major. And so only one of these sub-regions is going to go through. Korea, who really had so much development and so much to prove coming into this, because the Japanese scene has had a lot more of a world stage attention. Not only have you had Norengo in the past go on to play at pretty major events, you know, the biggest of the big.
Yeah, pretty good.
But then also, obviously, really major tournament in Tokoname in the form of Pro League Season 10. So there is such a big culture around this sub-region in Rainbow Six. Meanwhile, Korea is still trying to kind of make its rise and rear its head into the scene.
They definitely are, and I think that Cloud9 is definitely doing a good job at it right here. We didn't expect them to end as highly as they did, but they keep on surprising us every single play day, and now on the second day of the major as well, where they've probably shown some of the strongest Rainbow Six over the past year. So it's definitely something that, you know, stands with me, and I'm thinking like, Giants, they look breakable at this moment in time, but if Cloud9 take this 2-0, they have a very good opportunity of winning the entire thing.
Well, obviously, we can't forget the Cyclops currently are leading here on Consulate, so we don't want to speak too soon about potential 2-0s. But regardless, we are finally back in the game. Ayagator is indeed with us as well, unless he is to drop out one more time, but don't expect that will happen.
Don't say that.
No, don't. Look, I'm saying it because...
Then it won't happen?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the strategy. And Cloud9 are going to be going to the one...
Attackers need to locate
not the
and
one
defuse
site they
as
haven't
many
been to,
bombs
actually,
as they
because they haven't
can.
been upstairs. But they're going to be heading over to the first floor for their lobby defense.
Lobby. Let's see. Evil Eye being deployed. It's going to be able to give them the information whether or not someone is planting in default. Potentially put up some Zets as well.
The location of a bomb.
Checking where the second one will be. It looks like it will be up here. Watching long desk, for example. Making sure that anybody moving through from the eastern side will be spotted out in time.
10 seconds.
And thus can be dealt with accordingly.
You can tell that Cloud9 are definitely playing a really heavy information game here, given that they have the Valkyrie, Maestro, and Pulse. And obviously, a lot of the time, we don't get to see Valkyrie on this map because she very frequently gets banned out because of the propensity of runouts. But not only that, it does look like they're setting up for potentially a yellow stairs hold, as well as the rotation is there in the private bathroom. And so Cloud9, they're going to have a lot of eyes on a lot of parts of the map. Oh. I just saw Hap hold out a bottle, and for some reason, I thought he was throwing water at me.
No,
I don't know why. I got really worried.
Water. No, it was it was something else. Never mind. Anyway, hey Gator, trying to take care of the black eye right there. That's stuck in the middle of the face of the statue. Not going to be able to find it yet, but they're definitely going to be aware of the fact that it will be there right now. Cyclops going to be the one that have to take back the momentum. As right there we see a flashbang being tossed in to check if there is any ADS available there. That's not the case, and thus the breaching round will follow. Taking out that Evil Eye, which would be giving out so much information to the players of Cloud9, where the plans and where the push could be coming from. As Anderson right now will be giving away his position onto the connector. Masking the sound of that, he's ready to rappel up with some gunshots to make sure no one is going to be jumping out of that balcony window.
And while there's so many members of Cloud9 who are based up on the top floor, we of course have the poles down in the basement because you can look out for anyone who may be coming in laterally through the first floor. We did see Envy Taylor make a rotation down through once Black Ray started to move in, and you can actually see him moving up and down the yellow stairs still, and now Nova's going to be going down, which means no one is present there in meeting. Such a huge area of the map to gain control of if you want to be moving down into the lobby. Gatorada adding on to Cyclops' tally as Sweet Black goes down as well.
Shao did not see Black Ray arriving at the top of Spiral Stairs right here, and that means he is in danger. Also one below on the Visa Stairs. Now rappelling up on his window as well. He needs some help, and Envy Taylor is the one that has to provide him that as he gets stuck in a rotation hole. It seems like make his way through. One is on long desk. Are they aware? Phone call goes out. Doesn't spot the head, but Envy Taylor does and gets the kill onto Black Ray. Starting things off in favor of Cloud9. No direct trade coming in this time, but he has to be careful. Shao might lose his head right here if he goes a bit too aggressive, but he will get the kill. Drop the diffuser as well. That's a huge one, but it doesn't really matter in the end. Envy Taylor gets that last kill. A headshot onto Galarada, and Cloud9 will be able to pick up their second round, drawing things up are back in equal grounds, and only 2 more rounds left for Cloud9 on that defense.
Some beautiful shots there, especially from MV Taylor, who was able to clear out that space from long desk and prevent there being any kind of a pressure onto him, which allowed him to move in and collapse in towards meeting where Xiao was, even when he got traded out because the diffuser was dropped there. Having that extra reinforcement in the form of MV Taylor definitely finished things up there. And I think if he hadn't have been able to secure that headshot onto his enemy all the way down the other end of the corridor, it would have been so much harder for him to be able to even make that rotation in the first place. So it does look promising here for Cloud9, who've now been able to even out the score, something we were wondering when that was going to end up happening. And now the question is, are they going to start overtaking Cyclops, or are Cyclops going to claw their way back?
You got 2 rounds in a row now with a rehost in between. Is this going to be what they need to turn the momentum around and take the initiative themselves? English is really hard sometimes, but you know, you're going to have to do with it.
You have an excuse. It's not your first language.
I can always excuse myself as Xiao putting down Barbara, taking care of that plant as well. Doesn't really like that little tree. Destroys the pots for it. Some aggression that needs to go out.
I hate this tree.
I hate this plant. I hate that tree. Remove it from the game.
Yeah, and you can see the Sweet Black is also going to say, I hate this plant, as he places the yokais to prevent one.
I mean, I know a couple of people that are really fan of having plants in the rooms, and they would not be pleased with what they're seeing from Cloud9 right now. Just destroying every single plant they can see, as a spawn peek will be attempted. Sweet Black quickly goes off of it as he realizes he might have been a bit too late. Opening up the glass just to get some extra sound in case people would be rappelling up. Cyclops indeed are looking to go for a northwestern side take. Most likely focusing on yellow first and then put their pressure onto the actual box site itself.
That does mean Xiao is going to be placed there as well, and he'll be able to get aggressive if the attackers begin to move in. Logic Bomb's going to be kicking things off, but it looks like they're going to be going straight into the site. In goes the smoke, and not really anyone in a position to do anything about it. As soon as he straight away gets the plant down.
It's definitely a good round right here from Cyclops to go through. The Echo will be down. 1 kill coming through though for Cloud9. Jump outs are there. Harper will be able to get the kill onto Anaton. It's a 3-on-3 actually retake situation as Harper moves back up. They need to get this revive in. They need every single member they can find as they need to jump out these windows, walk out these doors, as they need to get the players on the rappel if they actually want to get this plan down. And you see 2 people right here onto the yellow stairs, completely clueless on what to do as the smoke canisters are being tossed out. They're hoping to go for a bait here. Susa picks up 1, will be not able to pick up the second one, and that means they can go for a run out right now, but the kill won't be coming through yet. Cyclops eventually though able to get this round through. It was a very quick rush, a very good call. The smoke canisters together with the phone call, enough to get that plan down.
The answer to the question that I set up was yes, Cyclops can prove that they can claw things back, and they do it with aggression that they lacked so much on Oregon, and this is what we've seen work for them really, really well.
Do they realize it themselves, though, that the aggression is the answer or the key to all their issues that they are having with Cloud9 right now? Because Cloud9, is, if they are given the time to play like how they want to play, then Cyclops is nowhere to be found.
Disappointing round there for Cloud9, but of course, it wasn't something that they were necessarily to foresee. They set up for the yellow stairs hold, which is kind of a more typical methodical way that you would see an attempt at a take from the attacking team, and rushes very rarely can be done twice in a row. Well, regardless, they're not going to be able to do it twice in a row the same anyway, because Cloud9 have decided to go all the way back down to the basement. And if we look so far, they were able to win it on round 3, but not back on round 1. Both times, Cyclops went for different approaches. On round 1, they decided to go for a relatively vertical approach, had a lot of pressure put on the public bathroom where Nova was hidden, and they didn't really spend much time on the garage door. The second time, in round 3, they brought along the Thatcher to get rid of any of that wall denial that was there. They opened the door very, very quickly, and they pushed in a slightly more standard way that you would expect. So this time, what are Cyclops going to be going for? Well, once again, they've decided to bring along the Dokkaebi, but they haven't brought a Thatcher to join in with the double hard breach.
They do, however, have that sledge available, and that would be really helpful if they manage to get it inside of the piano, just dealing with potentially the bandit player that could be going for some bandit tricks. But keep in mind, Gio, if Cloud9 manages to win this round, Doesn't matter how. They're finding themselves in a very good position of getting themselves into that second half, potentially taking the lead straight away as the attack clearly favors them. So CYCLOPS, they need to make work out of this round. They need to get this one in if they want to push us to a third map.
Straight away, Black Ray's going to be holding on for the flank watch here on yellow stairs. Means Cloud9 can't push too far forward up there. They've just got to be sure that someone is ready to catch him out if he decides to push in. Especially as Black Ray is going to have to open up the floor here. That does mean that the control there will have to be relinquished. Once again, Nova can be found here in the bathroom. And as that sledge begins to move in, if he doesn't deal with him, he's going to find himself killed before he has the opportunity to even open up the floor.
Go through quickly, but that really stalled him down just that bit. All he has to do is really toss over a grenade and just to get that kill secured onto Nova. Where is he actually? Oh, he's going to get himself up into antechamber as Sledge is trying to put down some pressure from the hatch. He's finding himself deep inside a piano. Not really having a way out as the C4 there will be dealing a lot of damage to Black Ray. He's still alive. Will be called out by Sweet Black as he does have that pill still available.
Still all 10 members remaining. Black Ray having taken a decent chunk of damage and Nova not yet been moved out of his position, but this could be the chance. Not quite though, as the nade doesn't land on him and he's going to throw out one of those smoke canisters to prevent any entrance in from the door. Meanwhile, work is being done elsewhere as you can hear the X-Kairos opening up the wall and forcing him to rotate on down, killing Black Ray on his way, but Envy Taylor's going to be going down to Aniton.
Indeed will be going down, and that leaves us in a 4-on-4 situation with 44 seconds left. Flashbangs being tossed out. Push from the yellow stairs needs to come through. We'll be able to take down at least one of the bandit batteries, allowing the termite to open up. Panel 1. I'll be giving them line of sight over the black car, potentially able to use that to secure themselves a entry into the garage. As Agate is still upstairs right here, playing from that hatch. Will have to find himself another way down, as he will be joining Aniton as he descends into these spiral steps. Flashbangs being tossed in, smoke canisters as well, but they have to phase an M59 shotgun. As Shal will be able to pick up 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills potentially. No, the last one will fail to go for it. Gatorada goes for a trade, and eventually Sweet Black and Nova to finish it off. Cloud9 will be able to win round number 6, and that means we are 3-3. And that also means Cloud9 have the opportunity to bring it back and take the initiative on the attack.
3-3 at the half, certainly not a bad place to be in, given that Cloud9 were on their weaker side and the weaker side for this map. And now we are about to see them move into the place where they're going to feel the most confident. And this should be where we start to see magic be made by Cloud9. Obviously, there's still the chance that CYCLOPS can pull this back in their favor and take it to a map 3, but right now it doesn't look like mathematically it's in their favor.
It's looking pretty cloudy for CYCLOPS, I have to say.
Oh, good one. How long did it take you to come up with that?
I've had it in my head for a long while, but I never actually managed to get an opportunity.
That's hilarious.
I just held on to the joke. But CYCLOPS, are you going to be able to get the control back? Are you going to be able to take the lead back? Take the initiative straight away. Show that your defense is impenetrable. Will Cloud9 prove that their attack is indeed one of the best in the region and something that CYCLOPS has to worry about for the remainder of this match?
Well, Cloud9 here are going to be setting things up for a relatively standard attack. They've brought the Thatcher and they're bringing the Thermite. Suggests that they want to be going in straight for that garage wall. And one of the things that you have to bear in mind about Cloud9 is the fact that when you have Harper and Nova working together, there is a synergy between them that is always incredibly enjoyable to watch. On pretty much any map that you've seen this team play on the attack, Harper and Nova are like dancing a dance together to their own tune. And they're always very swift and decisive with what it is they do together. When you have them working like that, they could get the door open very, very early, very quickly, open up those channels of ingress there for someone like Envy Taylor or Sweet Black or Xiao, who can move in, be aggressive, and take the site swiftly.
I like how CYCLOPS instantly realized that it is not beneficial to bring a Kaid in this case. If the Thatcher will be brought, the Electro Claws will not be holding off on that garage wall too long. You will have to rely on the good old bandit tricking, hoping that you will juggle it just in time. And with that comes the piano control. So you have that one yokai ready there to give the information to the bandit, just to say there's still no pressure, you don't have to worry about a thing, as they try to keep that wall closed for as long as they possibly can.
I really enjoy that Yokai position that was here in Pianos. Of course, you do expect Sweet Black to be heading on in there to try and open up the floor and provide the vertical pressure down into the site. Though here it does look like Cloud9 are potentially going in for a slightly more unorthodox way in, unless they make a later rotation to move back towards the garage door. They are heading on in there, and as you correctly do say there, Gatorada present here in the bathroom with the rotate down through the hatch available to him can work behind his mirror window, which will make it so much harder for Cyclops to take Cloud9 to take the space that they want.
It definitely does, but you got to keep in mind there's still one grenade left in the hands of Sweet Black, and if he realizes someone is actually playing inside of this bathroom here, we might see one of these grenades to be tossed over, as there is no mirror window actually holding off into Piano. So no information there for Gatorada to play with, and look at that, the mirror window is basically completely already taken out, as Envy Taylor keeps on peppering in these shots as he is on the rappel. Right now they're starting to move in from the Piano side, the pressure is coming soon. As Gatorada's also feeling that one, knows one is on top of his main door right here, the double door, hoping to hold them off for as long as he can, and he has to hold off for longer because 55 seconds left and the grenade is being cooked. It comes in right here, but not able to find the kill as it drops through the floorboards.
And Gatorada as well wasn't able to land the kill, even though he directly saw the member of Cloud9 who was facing straight in on him. Garage door has been open, and even though the smoke canisters are going to deter the push in, Cloud9 do have that set up for themselves. And Anaton is so far back as well. Once the door was open, unable to do the bandit trick, suddenly meant that he was significantly weakened. Shell holding onto the stairs as Nova's going to go in for the plant, and he has plenty of protection here, and Cyclops have to move forward.
They have to move forward indeed, but the plant's already gone down to 3 members all outside now, and this is a very rough retake here for the likes of Cyclops. They do have the man advantage, but there's 3 people outside holding every single angle they can get onto that diffuser, making sure that these jump outs will not be giving them any kill or any opportunity of getting that defuse going. 25 seconds left. The mirror will be finding himself on the top floor as she tries to get a peek down, but the head will be taken off not quite cleanly as the defuse in the meantime is already going through. Suzu trying to get it stuck as Black Ray able to pick up a kill. There we go. There it is. The double kill to come through. Harper to pick up the last 2. Cloud9 to win the round and show that their attack is indeed something to be afraid of.
A game of patience and false security there at the end as they allowed CAG to believe that they could disable the diffuser, but so naive, so sweet. Cloud9 thought as they came in and secured the kill. Why have they both got to begin with a C? It's so irritating. I'm looking over at Derry and he's nodding in agreement. He's like, yeah. Especially as in my notes as I'm writing down who's winning the rounds. I can't just write C for the team because
you
that could
normally
be
just
anyone.
write one letter?
Yeah, I usually do. I just write the initials. Yeah, I don't have time to write a full
Have you ever tried making
team
2
name.
columns and you just said X's?
No, because that means I have to draw a whole extra column.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, you could just divide the column into 2 with 1 extra line.
Listen, I didn't ask for your column drawing advice, Hap. I would appreciate it if you didn't bring it here. We are going to be heading over to the top floor site as Cyclops are once again in the position where they want to be clawing their way back to a potential win. Not really standing up all that well to that aggressive push in there from Cloud9, who were able to successfully protect the plant and take up a lot of space that even if Cyclops were to push up incredibly aggressively, they still would have been massively outnumbered in the endeavor. So the question is, are they going to be able to do it successfully here? Bringing similar operators, obviously not going for the wall denial upstairs, but they do have the Echo once again, as well as a Valkyrie too to provide some of that extra information. As we see that Black Eye get tossed outside, it's going to give them a little bit of an idea as to where Cloud9 come in from.
That Black Eye might be more important than you think because it's going to be feeding directly information into that western side rappel. And now, if you saw correctly, the middle wall and connector has been opened up completely, and we see an ACOG playing inside of the projector room. Now, you do not want to play on that angle the entire time, as Nova gets the first kill into AA Gator. So I was going to say that camera is going to be feeding information inside of Anaton's brain to make sure that he knows when he has to peek. But if you're losing your smoke player already within 30 seconds, that's no impact on whatsoever. Shal, however, just returns the favor as he double impacts himself, removes himself from the board, and we're back in a 4-on-4.
Definitely not a good situation there for Cloud9, but but you did hit the nail on the head in that losing your smoke that early is massively detrimental, especially on a site like this. But look, Nova's going to be going down early as well. Suzuki gets traded out, and Sweet Black adds on to the tally. Just Aniton and Gatorada remain, but make that just Aniton.
Make that no one.
Make that no one.
That was a quick round.
Exactly, as that was very quick there. Cloud9 just moving in. It didn't matter that they didn't have Xiao. All they had to do was just be like, pew.
What was that sound? Were you trying to like...
I don't know. What noise does a gun make?
What, not... First of all, not pew. It's more of a loud noise. But it doesn't matter. It's 3-5. And this is exactly what we said before. The attack of Cloud9 is something to be afraid of. And CYCLOPS is now rightfully so experiencing that. They're really looking back in the rounds now that they lost and realizing, we might have needed an extra 1 or 2 to give ourselves some extra margin, because right now Cloud9 yet again 1 round away. This time not just map point, but also series point.
Yeah, this is the decider as to whether or not they are going to be heading over to the grand finals.
We're 1 leg in, just, you know, almost with the second
They are
leg
so close, and CYCLOPS are watching it slip through their fingers as time goes on. They know they're on the back foot here, and they know they don't have another chance after this map is over. They've really, really got to pull it out here. And of course, losing someone like your smoke that early, but also not being able to hold your own in an aggressive gunfight is not going to set you up for greatness. Even if they were to go through to the grand finals, that's something that they would definitely have to pull together. So, on to the 3rd round here on this half, otherwise known as round 9. They're going to be going back upstairs once again. And I think a lot of this is to do with the fact that they know that they lost that, not because of their overall strategy, but because of very small things that happen at the start, or very big things in the case of the loss of the smoke. Straight away, you're on the back foot when that happens to you, and you don't even have the opportunity to carry out your strategy.
Well, you would say that indeed, like, the smoke was very impactful, but in the other hand, it was just people fragging out super quickly right afterwards. And you might say, how much could the smoke have changed in that situation with the amount of time that was left? 2 minutes 30 left, still shields being set up as Nova is already inside break room here. Just saw that shield popping up, so now someone is most likely playing right beside it. As we'll be using a termite charge right there onto the break room wall. It's a bit of a connector piece, giving him an extra rotation possibility. I'm not sure. I mean, where else are you going to be using your termite charge? So I guess in that case, it's justified.
Use it wherever your heart desires, but yeah. Still, it's looking a little bit better here for CYCLOPS. 2 minutes remaining, so not too far into the round, and there's still time for Cloud9 to do what they need to do. Xiao's just getting ready to hop onto the balcony and be able to deal in those lifelines. Of course, there is a Yokai not too far away, and Ayagator as well, which makes it a bit riskier, but he can't hide behind that table, which has already been opened up. This is where Xiao begins to move in. And he's just getting prepared. If he can catch one of these angles and catch a key player from CYCLOPS, is going to significantly weaken them as they head into the latter half of this round. And that's exactly what happens. Ayagator, you should have expected someone on that window. You can't just run through that door like that, my dude, because that is what happens.
There we go, another kill to come through. But this one is actually in the favor of CYCLOPS, as Aniton able to pick up the kill onto NV Taylor. Cloud9, however, do not have to deal with any of the smoke canisters anymore, and with 1 minute left on the clock, that's definitely a breather that they will have, quite literally. They're not breathing in any toxins. As Nova, in the meantime, already going down with that plant, will be stunned out for just a little bit. It's going to be 3 drones left alive on Alexa Cloud9 as they pick up yet another kill, and we keep on counting down as there's only 2 members left on the likes of CYCLOPS. And as I say that, of course, it's going to be 1. It's only up to Suzu now. Spots are coming through. They know exactly where he is. The plan's gone down. 40 seconds on the clock for a 1v3 retake. He'll be able to spot that one, but not get the kill quite down yet. The SMG is empty. Needs to go for the reload. Is going to be able to at least get the spots down, but he's not going to be given any angle onto the termite player whatsoever, who goes for the peak right now. A lot of time being wasted right here in this gunfight, as neither of them are going to be able to pick up the kill. The punch will eventually in the desk will launch out that kill. It's Cloud9 to go to match series point right now. Just one more round, and they secured themselves a 2-0. A very comfortable 2-0, even though the first half might not have looked like it.
Victory is just in their sights now, and it was a really unfortunate position there for Suzuzi at the end, and of course, with not a very large magazine there on the SMG-11, have to spend more time reloading than actually taking shots, and it does make you incredibly vulnerable.
The reload does take longer indeed than if your whole life mouse button is done within half a second, then you need to go for a second reload.
It really does take a while.
Yeah.
But it does now mean that Cloud9, as you say, are on map, match, and semi-final point. And this is the one round they have to win if they are to move on forward to the grand finals, where, of course, we would see them face off against Giants, who had that exceptional game earlier against Xavier. So, where is it the Cyclops are going to be going? Looks like they're going to be heading into lobby. Not necessarily the usual site that someone would pick as their primary. And when I say primary, the reason I say that is because you would think that if the stakes are this high and you're on match point like this, you want to go to the site that you're going to feel the most comfortable on.
They didn't win a single one yet, so which one would you be feeling most comfortable?
Well, this is yeah, right.
So they might be just trying to go for like the off pick, something that maybe Cloud9 is not too prepared attacking. Often the tertiary bomb site is the one that has the highest win rate, mind you, and that is due to the fact that it doesn't get played as often. So it might be what Cyclops need to get that round in, that so important round, put themselves up to 4, maybe turn around on momentum in that case, but it is swinging heavily inside of Cloud9's favor right now. They managed to get, I believe that was 6 rounds in a row. No, not 6 rounds. I'm lying in this case. 5 or 4 rounds in a row right now. So it's been a while since Cyclops have seen their name on the scoreboard as a win.
Cloud9 bringing a pretty good lineup here. Once again, seeing that Capitan, which can be used to flush out those defenders, so many of which have been selected to specifically try and stunt the swiftness of a potential push made by the attackers. Obviously, the information game that can be gained from the Pulse, the Mirror, the Valkyrie, the Alibi, and the Legion. Oh, would you look at that? That's absolutely everyone on the team. That's all Cyclops want because they need it as much as they can get. But the question is, can Cloud9's aggression and their coordination be enough to bring down all 5 of those members?
This is also the round where they've chosen to not go for the actual echo, as the impact right there will be making sure that there's no more cover behind the table. And it's going to be dealing quite some damage to Anaton as well. He's going to have to worry about his life right now. Doesn't have much cover left inside of Projector Room. And he's also not aware of the fact that any of the Cloud9 players might be close to him in the administration office. Hey, Gator on his drone. Checking out the black eye cam, just seeing if he can find anything, as he's seeing sees an EMP just tossing through from the bottom floor. And that means that Black Ray's in a very crucial position right now.
Look at this. He's so close to them as well. Do they know where he is? Right now, it doesn't seem as such, as they're not moving in. It's got to be Harper who is getting that kill on him. And as you say, C4 gone, but there's going to be a couple of kills coming out there from Cyclops. Shell turns things round there onto Gatorada, but it does mean it's a 3 versus 3.
It is indeed a 3v3, 60 seconds left, and as one gets killed, it's Anaton to pick up yet one kill, but there comes a kill from Sweet Black. Envy Taylor follows up as well, and that means it's all up to Gator now. 50 seconds on the clock. Cloud9 is 1 kill removed from reaching the finals against Giants. They're the number 1 and 2. Are they going to be making it, or will Gator pull out some hero clutch right here? He gets spotted out. Envy is in sight. He will get that kill, and it's Cloud9 to push themselves up to 2-0 with another 7-3 to come down, and they are finding themselves in the grand finals tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. What I'm saying is Sunday even. They have a lot of time to prepare for Giants.
We said at the beginning, Hap, of that map that it looked potentially like this could be Cyclops bringing it in, but no. Cloud9, they proved that they chose that map for a reason. They had what it takes, especially the attack.